So, I found myself a part-time job.
About time, bro. Why didn't you try and do that as soon as you learned the cost of rental girlfriends, considering you love renting Chizuru so much? Like, money doesn't grow on trees, and the longer you wait, the less spare cash you'll have once you have a steady income stream. Again, you're a business student. How do you not understand cash inflows and outflows?
Oh, it's so cute! And it's from Mizuhara. A phone case she picked out just for me.
I know he's excited because he got that gift, but like, how does he not realize that it's just a lime green on one side and orange on the other phone case with a blue fish on it? It's probably pretty fucking cheap and wouldn't have spent that much of her time, so even if this wasn't standard, it wouldn't be much progress. See what I meant last episode about her having to keep him at just the right distance, and the fact that her anger is very rarely justified in the narrative? Why is she throwing a temper tantrum over him asking about agency policy, and then doesn't give two shits when he literally stalks her? Who the fuck writes this crap?
It's not only normal for me to give you and all my clients gifts, it's agency policy.
Why though? What does the agency get out of it? I doubt that would really increase the customer loyalty more than the other stuff we see they have, and it may encourage the rental girlfriends to work less in the Christmas season so they don't have to dig into their income to buy gifts. But hey, I may be looking a bit too deep into it, or maybe someone with a more substantial commerce background can enlighten me on this, but as it stands, this just seems like the show really poorly trying to make it so Chizuru didn't do this out of the goodness of her heart.
No. Of course I haven't.
Exactly.
Did she really buy that? He was blushing, he looked away, and then he said, "Of course not," in one of the most defeatist tones I've heard. Like, if you can't tell that is lying, then I don't think you could ever identify a single lie for yourself.
So let's keep things clean and keep our relationship purely business.
What does she even mean by purely business? Like, to the letter of the rental agreement, or sticking to the boundaries that Chizuru set up, or what? Like, this is the kind of buzzword line that this show just kind of throws around and expects the viewer to insert the meaning, or to simply ignore the phrase and watch with their brain turned off, which is just such lazy writing. I've watched this show many times, but I cannot figure out the implication of Ruka showing up as. Did she know that Kazuya was going on a date with Chizuru and came here on purpose, which explains the aha and the fact that she had a blindfold, but it doesn't explain her tantrum and the fact she is shown to change moods when she sees Kazuya deep in thought mode, and takes him to that love hotel. So, did she plan this afternoon or not? The show really doesn't care to tell us, but if you want my guess is that she didn't and was acting on impulse, since that's Ruka's character this week.
You cheated on me! You told me you had other plans and it was really a date with her! Why would you see her instead of me?
That being said, this is really a killer line read from Sarah here.
No, it's not like that, Ruka. I was just asking her for some life advice.
I think this lie could have worked if this was back at the apartment, or if Chizuru was in her college outfit, but in the middle of a street, in her rental girlfriend getup, in the middle of a day, does not seem like the kind of time you'd ask for some life advice. How can this character not lie? He's been doing it for this long. This doesn't make any sense.
But I can't. I already have plans.
So, obviously that excuse won't work now, because you know she just saw you with Chizuru when you said you had other plans, so obviously using the same excuse again isn't gonna work, since you can bet she won't want you spending any more time with her. But hey, I guess Albert's definition of insanity is a government conspiracy, huh? So this moment kind of falls flat, because even if she was in the mood to assist him, what in the world could she fucking say that would convince Ruka it was a good idea for the two of them to continue this? I mean, remember how kind and level-headed Ruka was talking to Chizuru outside his apartment at episode 7? Like, this is supposed to show Chizuru's apathy to Kazuya's relationship, but it fails specifically because she couldn't have done anything anyway, so the fact that the implication is that she could have is just false.
Guess I'd better do what she wants. It did kind of hurt her feelings today.
Well, this is actually a logical thought process. Well done. Shame the writers aren't consistent with that, but with this show, you take what you can get when it comes to logic. How did you not work out this was a hotel from the entry process? Like, I know you were getting dragged in here with a blindfold on, but you must hear Ruka ask for a key, and then you must have heard her use the key on the door, open it, and close it. Or show with text, by the way. So, I think almost anyone could have worked out they were inside a hotel, even before the blindfold came off, And while you might not have internalized it was a love hotel, I mean, what other hotel would she drag you into? My dude, please, for the love of God, just look for the key if you want out of here. Doors to hotel rooms, and especially rooms in a love hotel, don't just open if you pull on them. That would lead to all kinds of issues. People going into the wrong room.
There's supposed behavior, and then there's insanity.
Hey, that's a good way to sum up a lot of my points I'm gonna make later this episode and throughout the show. Thanks, man.
What kind of explanation?
What does she not know that you know? Come on, man. Are you playing dumb, or do you seriously just ask people out loud any question that pops into your head? Like, why do the writers think that a character just completely brain dead makes for a relatable person? Most people are pretty smart, actually. At least compared to him.
Why'd you take off your socks if you just wanted to talk?
Maybe I'm missing something as an ace guy, but I wouldn't necessarily think that taking off of socks was the moment to signal something was going to happen. I would just think they wanted to sit down or lie down or put their shoes and socks at the front to be polite. Pretty much the last thing I would assume is that they were planning on some business time.
The two of you were talking about your grandmas or something.
So, when did they talk about Sayuri? Trick question. Chizuru never once mentioned her grandmother in episode 7, and while Kazuya mentioned his own grandmother, it was clearly to justify why he didn't want his secret revealed, not why Chizuru was going along with it. Like, come on, guys, can you respect your audience's intelligence? At least a little bit?
Now I get it. That explains a lot of things.
Okay, another instance of dumb cutaway exposition, because the problem is that despite her hearing what supposedly is the whole story, he has to then explain to her the reasons why ending it isn't as easy as you would assume, which makes no sense if she did hear the whole story, since she would have logically heard his reasons for keeping it up, and therefore could have jumped over him having to state his reasons and got to a more compelling argument.
I didn't know what else to do.
Okay, that's a bold-faced lie. Why? Because not only did Chizuru repeatedly tell him that the easiest solution, and the solution she expected him to go through with, was the idea of them staging a fake breakup, but in episode 2 he actually went through with it and saw that there would be no consequences to him or her from this. Like, why would he lie this blatantly and just expect Ruka to buy it? I mean, I guess if the writers forgot everything I just brought up, then the odds Ruka wasn't told about it, or at least told a far more twisted version, but seriously, it is unacceptable to be this lazy with your continuity. Your show is not that complicated. Events are super easy to remember if you just get off your ass and think for a second.
But what's Gran gonna think if she sees me jump from one girlfriend to another like that?
Kazuya, this isn't a counterpoint, it's simply a timing qualification, since while he's right that if they do it too fast, it can go south. As long as they time it correctly, Ruka's point still stands. So I'd love to know how Kazuya thinks he's winning right now. Now again, I get she's insane, but if the writers wanted to push that, they should be doing it, but they aren't.
Besides, Gran's taken a real liking to me, Zahara.
Furthermore, this point is just stupid and isn't a counterpoint at all. If anything, this actually helps Ruka's case, since if his grandmother is getting attached to a girl that Kazuya has no future with, then it is inherently a smart idea for them to try and get out as soon as they can, to make sure that they don't get stuck with all this shit till Nagami dies. Again, Ruka's points are not bulletproof, but somehow he's just making them look like they are.
Let me ask you this then. Do you have sex with Chizuru?
Yo, this literally adds nothing to your argument, and it's just gonna make the god of virginity really uncomfortable and give him an excuse to dip this conversation. Like, why does the show have literally no argumentation skills? Like, this point about sex doesn't address either the jumping from one girlfriend to another point, or the fact that his grandmother is attached to her. All it does is make him uncomfortable and make you seem too forceful.
I'm ready to go all the way with you.
Again, Ruka, I get you're supposed to be impulsive, but think for 5 seconds! If he keeps backing away from you as you get closer, and he's blushing like mad, and he tried to flee when he found out what kind of hotel this is, there is no way he's down for business, so that means you were just making him uncomfortable and not strengthening your argument at all. Like, who the fuck writes this shit?
Listen, Kazuya, I'm just trying to focus in on the long-term situation.
If you want to focus in on the long-term situation, why do you do this stupid plan later in the episode? That's such a stupid line to have a character who's about to act on impulse for potential short-term gain say. And besides, there are plenty of other points you can make about their relationship that also focuses on the long-term situation that isn't fucking uncomfortable for him.
So this was her plan from the start.
Hold up. Plan from the start? But then why was she surprised and angry when she saw the two of you on the street? My best guess is that this implies she was planning to do this at some point and did it right now because she was pissed. But while that might justify the timeline of events, keyword might, it still doesn't justify that it's a fucking idiotic plan. At this point, it's almost a meme how many contrivances there are in this season. Like, of course Kazuya gets this text at the exact moment Ruka happens to be there to read it, and Kazuya isn't. Like, this is the entire episode's hinge point, and it's just this really stupid contrivance. And this is not a one-off thing. This is a very common occurrence in this season, which, again, makes the writing really fucking lazy. That was just a waste of money. Nice job, Ruka. For someone not working anymore, you seem awfully lackadaisical about your cash. Like, no way my man is fucking paying for that, so you just managed to waste money on an explanation he could have given you literally anywhere. God, I hate how a show with rent in the title shows no respect for the value of money.
But you still have to pay me full price.
And she already set that up as a boundary, so what is the fucking point of reiterating it here? Like, I know that he likely would have forgot, but logically, he should have the memory to know of the boundaries of their relationship that Chizuru has established twice now. So therefore, I don't get who the fuck decides that this line is necessary, unless A, they think their audience is brain dead, B, they think their characters are brain dead, or C, they think that this joke is funny. And I would say C is the most likely reason, but let me assure you, writers, if you think that is what is happening right now, you are wrong.
Hello there, I'm Ruka Sarashina, and I'll be coming along with you today.
Well, may as well get into this plan since it started. So I guess Ruka's plan is to introduce herself to Kazuya's family and tell them the truth about Chizuru potentially, so she can become Kazuya's full-time girlfriend. Now, on the surface, it looks logical, but that's just the thing. On the surface. Like, the very surface. In reality, this is one of the most goddamn illogical things any character does in the show. Let's break it down. So the problem is, if you surprise the two of them with this, and potentially threaten your cover, they have a number of lies they can tell to make Kazuya's family not believe you. 1, Ruka is Chizuru's friend who's madly in love with Kazuya and will do anything to get with him. 2, Ruka hates Chizuru and is trying to steal Kazuya despite her. 3, she's a pathological liar, the one they go with. 4, you could just describe Mami and say that's Ruka. You know, she's Kazuya's ex who's trying to get back with him after she saw how attractive his next girlfriend is. Like, the problem with this plan is that you're doing it under the assumption that the other two are fully on board to put an end to this now, and if they don't, things just end horribly for you. I know this is a dickish point to bring up, but Chizuru has a higher rating as a rental girlfriend, so logically that would mean she'd have a better acting prowess and getting people to like her, so I don't really think Ruka ever has a chance here, and the fact that she thinks she does reveals that the writers just really did not think about this scene at all.
Do you know her?
And to bring up a further point about how stupid this plan is, in what world would Kazuya's family just let some stranger come along with them? I mean, Chizuru and Kazuya can actually just say they don't know her and drag them off, and there is nothing she can do about it. I mean, not that those two know it, but if they just run really fast, she can't catch them without fainting, so they can very easily get away. So is their plan just hope those two aren't afraid to have her come along, but then if they aren't afraid, that means they have planned for this outcome, so her plan is pointless anyway? What the fuck are you doing? No one who just met someone hugs them for no reason. That is just making things look weird as fuck, and it means that Kazuya's family will be less likely to want to spend time with you, let alone get close enough to you for you to be able to reveal the truth to them. So even the first thing she does after setting this utterly brain-dead plan into motion is, guess what? Brain-dead.
Looks to me like you have some idea.
No, not a clue.
Broship, she's on your fucking team. Neither of you want Ruka spilling here, therefore, just be open with her. At least if she knows, then she can give you some advice as to, you know, how to avoid this in the future. Like, remember, she's a rental. She doesn't care if you go in a love hotel with a girl, especially one she forced you to date. But she does care how Ruka managed to get herself into this outing, which, you know, you both want to avoid.
Probably won't say anything just yet. but it's still awfully risky having her here with us.
I mean, if she had brain cells, well, okay, if she had brain cells, she wouldn't have come here in the first place. But if she had brain cells and still somehow decided to come here, she wouldn't spill at all, because the terms of Kazuya and her relationship were that Ruka can't tell anyone about Chizuru's job or interfere with them as long as she goes out with Kazuya. Therefore, if she does say anything, then Kazuya just breaks up with her, and then she just screwed herself. So I actually doubt you're in any danger, because you have fucking all the leverage. Which again makes her plan even dumber, by the way.
Well, since
Well, she and Chizuru are friends.
Nice work, man. Honestly, you're a genius. Again, the fact that Kazuya is handling this so well really proves how fucking dumb Ruka's plan is, since as long as Kazuya keeps beating her to the punch on every question, she can never drop the bombshell, so she'll just be wasting her time, unless she does something like...
his girlfriend.
Really, Ruka? Really? That's the best you've got? Are you fucking me off? Just saying it? No thought to phrasing, or possible responses, or possible consequences to Kazuya or to yourself. Just fucking saying it and hoping it works perfectly. For the love of God, I know you're a high schooler, but holy fuck, they teach you to think before you act in fucking primary school. And this plan will never work. Best case, Kazuya ends his relationship with Chizuru and still goes out with you, but literally his whole family hate you and him. And worst case, he just breaks up with you for not upholding your end of the deal and goes along with Chizuru. Like most people, when they say something, only think about the short-term consequences, not the long-term. But this doesn't even make sense short-term, and makes zero sense long-term. So how does this ever work?
Are you breaking up with Ruka or you cut ties with your family?
And that right there is proof of the stupidity of Ruka's plan, because the ultimatum he receives isn't cut ties with Ruka or break up with Chizuru, it's cut ties with Ruka or we disown you. So even in the situation where Ruka did get them to believe her, they would never allow him to go out with her instead of Chizuru, so this plan doesn't have any weight at all.
Really, dude? Even I wouldn't believe that story.
So a few things. One, it is believable to an extent, since she did repeat she was your girlfriend in a way similar to that of a toddler, which could potentially indicate a mental condition. And all the points that his grandmother brings up also points to this being a logical answer. And to be fair, man, you may not have said it well, but as dumb as you are, Ruka's plan is a cosmic level of stupid.
I could ask you the same thing. Do you seriously think you can keep up this little game forever?
See, this moment is confusing to me, because it gets me thinking. Why wouldn't you confront Chizuru first? Because one, doing this and failing effectively cuts you off from Kazuya's family for a long time, and two, confronting her now is like trying to calm down an animal while you have it pinned against a wall. It won't work. She'll get defensive, and now you've essentially cut off the remaining two ways of ending this fake relationship at the same time, meaning the only way you can end it is to make Kazuya fall for you for real, which you are clearly having trouble doing. And if you really were scared of her coming here that much, you saw the text first, so you could potentially rent Chizuru out before he can, and confront her then. Like, this is such an idiotic plan, it's kind of hilarious.
But it is that simple.
Again, while I agree with the blanket statement it's that simple, it's not that simple anymore, because you screwed over your chances of this graceful exit by barging in. Like, for the love of God, she has made it clear she doesn't want you to keep this up, so if you told her the plan in private, she probably would have been on board. But telling her here after you just barged in makes your points sound comically illogical.
Isn't that interesting?
I will say, this scene's pretty good. It is nice how after being told that Ruka has a mental condition, Kazuya's family just try to be respectful by playing along with her lies, which actually shows them as considerate people, which is good since that is the first time that has been established outside Kazuya straight up saying it in episode 1. Why the fuck is he doing the fucking whistle? Come on, bro, this was your lie. You'd think you'd be doing the same face as them, or something else that makes everyone else at the table think you're playing along with her instead of making it seem like you're scared they'll believe her, which is bizarre considering what you told them.
Seriously, you must have the patience of a saint.
Like, I get what they're saying here, but wouldn't the guy suffering more here be Kazuya? I mean, think about it. Assuming everything he says was truthful, if Kazuya was really dating Chizuru, then he has a girlfriend who has a friend who has fully convinced herself that she's actually dating him, and his girlfriend is forcing him to play along with her friend's lies, so he just has to pretend to date Ruka whenever he sees her. Like, while Chizuru may be suffering here, Kazuya would be way worse off, so you'd think that his fucking family would give him some props for this.
Did you tell her I'm a pathological liar? That's horrible!
How could you not foresee this? That's horrible! Like, even if you didn't foresee this particular lie, did you really think they would just take this lying down? The king and queen of lying to their family? Jesus Christ, this Ruka is way more dense than Kazuya in this episode, because at least he used critical thinking a few times, which is a couple more times than Ruka has.
I'm gonna fix this!
Am I high? How are you gonna fix this when they all think you're a pathological liar? You could try and explain that, and the other two could just say it's a lie. Just give up. You lost, Ruka. Holy fuck, man, this episode has no cells.
How is that any worse? You're lying to them all anyway! Two-timing and zero-timing are the same thing!
Oh, this is stupid in a number of ways, so let's hit it. One, why does the fact that he's lying have any bearing on the merits of two-timing versus zero-timing? And two, the fact that she said zero-timing indicates she doesn't think she's his girlfriend, even though she has said she was a lot, and will continue to do so throughout the rest of the show. Like, this episode feels like it was written by an improv class rather than a studio writing team, because none of the dialogue makes any sense, and the setup is one of the most amateur hour shit I've ever seen. This line, again, is so fallacious, I've managed to make a fallacy out of it. The zero-timing fallacy.
What's the deal? Am I your girlfriend or not?
The two of you have been going out for a hot minute and getting along just fine. What happened to you being fine with staying away from the campus? He just doesn't want you introducing yourself to his family unannounced. Is that too much to ask? I mean, fuck, man. Like, obviously, if they just presented Ruka as an idiot the whole time, I would think this episode was probably pretty good. But shit, this just makes it clear you're supposed to see Ruka's perspective somewhat. So the writers seem to think this was a good plan and that Ruka's sympathetic for doing so. Which, my god, is that foolish.
Well, I don't think I can do it. It's too much for me.
Like with Kazuya and his stalking, you put yourself in this position. You didn't have to come, so don't blame it on him. This is like when Chizuru gave Kazuya that death stare in episode 1 and got pissed at him for introducing her as his girlfriend despite the fact that, you know, she followed him without asking. Like, if it's your fault something happens, you don't get to complain to a person if you don't like the consequences. Though Chizuru's was like 10,000 times more reasonable than Ruka's was here.
I'm your girlfriend, Kazuya. That's the only role I want to play.
Then why don't you stay the fuck away from his family? Besides, you can still play that role around his family. They'll just all think it's because you have a mental condition and not because you're actually dating. So the word role here doesn't even work.
I'm not a liar.
Okay, so you're not a liar. You're an idiot then. What's the difference? Like, my god, writers, I'm not gonna sympathize with a character who rocked up with no plan to a gathering she wasn't invited to spill some heavy news on Kazuya's family, like she wouldn't just get broken up with off of it. Like, if you wanted me to sympathize with her, you needed to rewrite this big time to give her some fucking leverage. And if you wanted to write it this way, stop pretending Ruka's perspective has any merit. It doesn't!
I have to tell her.
What happens if Kazuya dumps you, my dude? Like, you blackmailed him into dating you, and now you're going to spill the beans anyway. So, what if he dumps you for breaking the deal? Also, if I were her, my worst nightmare would be breaking the deal. And then Chizuru's grandmother finds out, she might just decide to date Kazuya for real just to spite Ruka. Like, Ruka really just needs to be massively overhauled in this episode. And the fact that she wasn't shows complete laziness went into this shit.
There's so many questions I'd like to ask.
I mean, I know this is supposed to be a moment to make Ruka back down, but like, if you have questions you want to ask, why don't you? You didn't seem that afraid to ask if the two of them had had sex, so I'm sure other questions would be on the fucking table.
What's wrong? It's not a grandchild that she wants. It's Chizuru herself.
Thank you, holy shit, but here's the big question. Where did you even get that assumption in the first place? Did you just assume that because she's old? Like, again, this is a moment to make you think she isn't so bad, but it falls flat because this whole story was justified so badly.
Hey, Ruka? Listen, I'm really sorry about what I told my gran.
Dude, come on, don't be such a pussy! She should be the one apologizing to you, not the other way around. Like, yes, you did do something somewhat douchey with the lie, but she was the one who rocked up in the first place! Like, keep that apology until she gives one to you, man.
You listen up. No kissing or squeezing or feeling up Chizuru, you hear me?
With Kazuya's attempted phone blackmail, I get what she's trying to do here, but like, this word is not a guarantee that nothing will occur, especially because you know that they're faking it, so you just kind of have to trust him, and you think you'd be able to just trust in the rental agreement and wouldn't have to get this agreement out of him.
This is an endurance fight. I hope you're ready.
then why the fuck are you trying to go for the knockout blow, you complete imbecile? Like, do you know what a battle of endurance is? It is an approach to how you fight. It's not based on how long it lasts, or else you would be basically asserting that World War II is the battle of endurance because it was longer than World War One. Like, what the fuck? Well, I said I'd get to this last episode, so here it is. So I said last episode that the problem with Ruka was that she has an illusion of thematic consistency. But what do I exactly mean by that? Throughout Rent-A-Girlfriend, I have basically tracked 3 modes of Ruka, and we'll break down why these modes fail by themselves and why they fail as a group. But I have dubbed the 3 Criminal Ruka, Scheming Ruka, and Ruka the Girlfriend. Starting off, Criminal Ruka is the name I've given to the mode of Ruka where her actions are purely selfish due to the narrative giving nothing but her own self-interest as a justification for her actions. This is the kind of Ruka we see at the end of Season 1 Episode 6, where she messes with Chizuru and Kazuya, and her justification is that she had to, which effectively shows she did it because she found it amusing despite the risks. Then we also see this Ruka throughout Season 1 Episode 7, with the scene at the college, the blackmail, the tackle, and the crying, which is Ruka stopping at nothing to make Kazuya go out with her, and never caring for his personal boundaries, showing that she really doesn't love him as much as she says she does, and coming up with plans that she knows are bad ideas, but doing them just because they're easier, and she doesn't want to bother with a harder plan. This version of her character is pretty much modeled on a pure evil villain, and thus would be very hard to make work in a rom-com, since pure evil villains generally exist to be overcome by the protagonist, whereas rom-com side characters exist to more hang out with the protagonist, though we have seen it work, but it definitely doesn't work here. Next, we have Scheming Ruka, who appears in Season 1 Episode 9, Season 2 Episode 4, Season 2 Episode 9, and that's about it. The 3 problems with this are that, 1, despite her talking about how much she loves Kazuya throughout this episode, she still has no respect for his boundaries, and no matter what he tries to tell her, she still tries to overstep said boundaries. 2, her plans, as demonstrated here and will continue to be demonstrated, are poorly thought out, and yet, despite that, she doesn't acknowledge their insane flaws, and neither do the rest of the cast, simply commenting on how annoying the schemes are. And 3, she is presented as having a point with these, despite the fact that Factor 2 rules this out, and thus it just makes the other characters seem stupid for this. Like Chizuru saying Kazuya was making things worse this episode when he told the pathological lie a lie. This version of Ruka could have worked if she was intelligent, but as it stands, she works pretty poorly due to the lack of thought going into her plans. And finally, we have Ruka the Girlfriend, who is the version of her portrayed as completely sympathetic by the show, and is seen in every episode except the ones listed above. The problem with her, with the exception of Season 1 Episode 8, Season 1 Episode 12, and Season 2 Episode 8, is that most of the time, she never does things for Kazuya just because, as we'll see next episode, constantly expecting things from him while not accepting much of what he tries to tell her, and she has very little consistency in why she likes Kazuya or how she feels about their relationship, with it flip-flopping from perfectly happy in Season 1 Episodes 8 and 12 to close to scheming like Season 2 Episode 7, which makes it hard to nail down her feelings and thus try and justify her lash-outs at him for his dates with Chizuru. Thus, because of this, most of the sympathy toward her in these moments is typically brought on by Kazuya just telling us, the audience, she is a nice girl, a total angel, really is awesome. Should I go on? This version of Ruka we know can work from the 3 episodes she, well, works in, but the others needing her to drive conflict results in her working less well. So, what happens when you mix them together? She comes off as Kazuya's abuser. Now, you might think that that claim is pretty intense, so let's go through this list of symptoms I found that are supposed to be easy to spot and tick them off. As I run through these examples, I'll provide specific ones for this episode, but I'm just going to provide the other episodes. So for the ones we've already done, there'll probably be some analysis that covers it in that episode, and for future ones, I will specifically address the issue that I've listed here when we get to the line that proves my point. So know that this rant is not an end-all be-all for this topic. I will continue to cover it as we continue the series. This was shown when she was trying to make him feel down about his pathological lie by framing it like he chose to date her, and there's further examples in Season 2, Episode 4, and Season 2, Episode 9. Forcing him to go away from Chizuru earlier, and dragging him to the Love Hotel, and there's further examples in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, and Season 3, Episode 7. Just generally, this is shown by the fact she never does anything for him without asking for something in return, but we see this with forcing him to go away from Chizuru earlier, dragging him to the Love Hotel, and we see this as well in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 2, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, Season 3, Episode 6, and Season 3, Episode 7. But this one doesn't count because she's generally willing to let him do things he wants as long as she gets something out of it. So she's clearly supportive as long as he's willing to make it worth her while. Criticizing him for keeping up the relationship with Chizuru, criticizing him for the pathological lie, and furthermore, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 2, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, Season 3, Episode 4, Season 3, Episode 6, and Season 3, Episode 7 all have examples of this. We saw this with him being forced to go away from Chizuru earlier, dragging him to Love Hotel, and we also saw this in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 2, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, and Season 3, Episode 6. Saw this with forcing him away from Chizuru earlier, dragging him to the Love Hotel, going to that meetup with Kazuya's family uninvited, and we also see this in Season 1, Episode 8, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 1, Episode 12, Season 2, Episode 2, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, Season 3, Episode 3, Season 3, Episode 4, Season 3, Episode 5, Season 3, Episode 6, and Season 3, Episode 7. So there's no silent treatment, though she does guilt trip him with forcing him away from Chizuru earlier, dragging him to the Love Hotel, trying to get him to introduce her to his family, confronting him over the pathological lie, telling him how she felt about the lie at the end of the episode. And we also saw it in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, and Season 3, Episode 6. The fact she went looking for him at the start of the episode, going to the family meetup uninviting, telling him not to kiss, squeeze, or feel up Chizuru. And other examples are Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, Season 3, Episode 3, Season 3, Episode 4, and Season 3, Episode 6. One is prevalent, as it was shown by the fact she went looking for him at the start of the episode, dragging him to the Love Hotel, trying to get him to introduce her to his family, to make the relationship official, going to the family meetup uninvited, and we also see it in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 1, Episode 8, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, and Season 3, Episode 7. Dragging him to the Love Hotel, complaining about the pathological liar point despite already being informed of their circumstances, and the fact that, despite that, she still forced him to date her in the first place. There's also examples in Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, and Season 2, Episode 9. Going to find him when he said he had plans, checking the message on his phone, and going to his family meetup uninvited, and as well, we have it in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 4, and Season 2, Episode 9. There are arguments in the Love Hotel, her argument about him with the pathological lie, and Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 4, and Season 3, Episode 7 all have this. While there's nothing in this episode, we do see it in Season 2, Episode 4, and Season 3, Episode 7. Her argument in the Love Hotel, her argument with him about the pathological lie, and her talk to him at the end, as well as showing up in Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 2, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 4, and Season 3, Episode 7. Forcing him to go away from Chizuru earlier, dragging him to the Love Hotel, their argument in the Love Hotel, her argument with him about the pathological lie, and furthermore, Season 1, Episode 7, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, and Season 3, Episode 3 all have examples of this. Now, I'll grant you, most of these are due to continuity errors, but lying is lying. And we saw it in her argument with him about the pathological lie, and we see it in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, Season 3, Episode 3, and Season 3, Episode 7. Now, if you mean social needs here, forcing him to go away from Chizuru earlier counts, and there's also examples in Season 1, Episode 7, 10, and Season 2, Episode 9. Nothing in this episode, but we do see examples in Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episodes 4 and 9, and Season 3, Episodes 2 and 7. No, as Kazuya's her first boyfriend, so we can't prove this assertion. This one, there's a mountain of evidence, including going to find him when he said he had plans, forcing him to go away from Chizuru earlier, dragging him to the Love Hotel, their argument in the Love Hotel, checking the message on his phone, going to his family meetup uninvited, her argument with him about the pathological lie, their talk at the end, and we see it in Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episodes 4, 7, and 9, and Season 3, Episodes 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. This never occurs, so we can't make an argument for it. One is pretty much an ingrained part of her character, shown when she goes from being mad at him at the start to happy when they're on a date to mad at his thinking, going from thoughtful to mad at him to mad at herself to determined in the Love Hotel, going from mad at Kazuya to seeming to be sad about the state of their relationship and their argument about the lie, becoming mad at Chizuru in the middling of their affairs at the end of the episode, and we also see it in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episode 2, Season 2, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 3, Episode 2, Season 3, Episode 3, Season 3, Episode 4, Season 3, Episode 7. Here we have slapping him, criticizing him for keeping the relationship with Chizuru, criticizing him for the pathological lie, and we see it in Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episodes 2, 4, 7, and 9, and Season 3, Episodes 2, 4, 6, and 7. Fortunately for Ruka, in this assessment, Kazuya isn't smart enough to change himself to make her happier, so she's in the clear. Here we see this one with not caring about the people around the Crepes Town when dragging him off to the Love Hotel, and the story she tells Kazuya's family, as well as seeing it in Season 1, Episode 10, Season 2, Episodes 7 and 9, and Season 3, Episode 4. And we see in their argument in the Love Hotel, their argument about the pathological lie, and Season 1, Episodes 7 and 10, Season 2, Episodes 4, 7, and 9, and Season 3, Episode 7 all have this. This is like her bread and butter, and here we see it in going to find him when he said he had plans, forcing him to go away from Chizuru earlier, dragging him to the Love Hotel, their argument in the Love Hotel, going to his family meetup uninvited, telling him not to kiss, squeeze, or feel up Chizuru, and we see this in Season 1, Episode 7, Season 2, Episodes 2, 4, 7, and 9, and Season 3, Episodes 2, 3, 6, and 7. We've got slapping him in the Love Hotel, and there's examples of joke slapping in Season 3, Episode 7, and hitting in Season 1, Episode 7. This one's hard to argue, because he is very rarely genuinely happy, but he wasn't shown to be happy eating the crepes with her earlier, he wasn't shown to be happy in the Love Hotel, nor the time they spent with his family, and he's not shown to be happy on dates with her in Season 1, Episode 8, Season 1, Episode 10, Season 1, Episode 12, Season 2, Episode 2, Season 2, Episode 4, and yes, I know he says he's happy, but he certainly doesn't show it throughout the episode. And then Season 2, Episode 7, Season 2, Episode 9, Season 2, Episode 10, Season 3, Episode 2, Season 3, Episode 3, Season 3, Episode 4, Season 3, Episode 5, Season 3, Episode 6, Season 3, Episode 7, and Season 3, Episode 8. So at this point, I think you can gather the poor meshing of Ruka's 3 poorly executed modes makes her come off like Kazuya's abuser, who through this cycle of abuse has convinced himself that he's the asshole mistreating her, and she's the nice girl stuck with him, which, no matter how bad a person he is, no one deserves that kind of treatment. See, this is the problem R.A.G has with all its characters, but with Ruka it is so bad to the point where it not only makes her come off as a worse person than Kazuya, but it also makes her a far worse character due to the fact that, to a degree, he's meant to be unsympathetic, but every episode, Ruka's supposed to be pretty sympathetic, and the fact she comes off as an abuser is a major problem for the purpose of her character, and again, shows that the writers really should have thought twice before they wrote this stuff. So, that's why I think Ruka is the worst character in Rent a Girlfriend, and if anyone asks me why again, I will simply direct them to this video, though I'll make sure to analyze the further examples you heard in my presentation of the symptoms. Also, if you know anyone who you want to convince of this, feel free to direct them to this rant. Well, you might wonder after this, I thought you said the previous 2 were worse by a long shot, but you seem to be getting pretty pissed at this one. This episode is just trying to be a basic drama episode, but it is just based on so little logic that it just gets on my nerves more than other episodes of this show that are probably similarly bad, namely episode 1. It just really encapsulates how this show is just here to serve up what they think is standard harem anime tropes and wish fulfillment people want, and don't care about making it fit into their narrative whatsoever. But on the bright side, at least we only have 3 episodes left in Season 1, and the next 2 are actually pretty good. See you for episode 10.